Hi, in today's video we're going to take an in-depth look at the Truckers Hitch. Everything probably and more than you'd ever want to know. Stay tuned. Welcome to week 4 of our deep dive into the Truckers Hitch. I'm most excited about this week where we'll be learning the fastest, if not the easiest, loop knot, the slip knot. We'll be tying it off with, in my opinion, the most useful camping knot, the Tautline Hitch. But that's not all. Stick around until later where I'll be sharing a completely unique version of the Truckers Hitch. It's a version of the Truckers Hitch that can give you more mechanical advantages than any of the other versions that we've covered so far. I call this version a double-looped Truckers Hitch. You know, if you've missed any of the first 3 installments of this course, I'll put links to them in the description below. You can also find the entire series in the Outdoor Skills Courses playlist, which I'll put right up here. Hi, I'm John with Let's Go Now Adventures, and whether you're into tent camping or RV camping, we create videos to help you have a better camping experience. By the end of this video, we'll have learned in this course the slip knot, the 2-1/2 hitch, the Tautline Hitch, the Alpine Butterfly, the full sheepshank and half sheepshank, the inline figure 8, how to slip any hitch, plus the double-looped Truckers Hitch, coming up a little later. With these knots, you'll have the skills and knowledge to master most camping knot tying situations. A couple of tips for learning the Truckers Hitch. First, simulate a real-world use of the Truckers Hitch. You know, tying it like this out of context is difficult. Practice the Truckers Hitch with the standing end secured to something and then have an anchor to pull against. Second, think of the Truckers Hitch in 4 steps. Step 1, create a loop knot. Step 2, wrap your working end around some sort of anchor. 3, thread your working end through the loop knot and pull force. And 4, tie it off with some sort of hitch knot. So the next knot is the slip knot, and this is my go-to knot when I have to get into a Truckers Hitch fast. Like in a high wind situation when I've got to secure my tent and get a line that I can exert quite a bit of force on. Simply take your hand, bring it up underneath your line. Curve it over so you create a loop. So I'm going to go under, then over in the direction of the load. Now what I'm going to do then is now reach back towards me, grab and pull that loop through. And now we've got a loop that we can use for our Truckers Hitch. And now the thing about the slip knot, right, is it goes this way, but we're going to be putting pressure on both sides, so the slip knot won't slip. Now you're going to make a loop by reaching above, reach down below, and grab a loop and pull it through. Now you've got a loop that we can use for our Truckers Hitch. Okay, so this last tie-off method is the Tautline Hitch. So we're around our anchor, we've come back up, we're going to pull the tension. Now with the Tautline Hitch, it's such an easy knot to do. We're just going to create a loop, and back towards our loop is the direction we're going to be heading. We've got a loop we've created, so here it is. So I'm pulling tension and I've got a loop. Back towards that side. So I've come up through that loop towards this way. Guess what? We're going to do it again. One more time through. So now what I've done is made 2 loops that way. Now we're going to continue the same direction. So we're coming around this way. We'll follow but we're going to make our loop above this time, or closer to you. Then we'll run this through, and we'll tighten that up. So now we have a taut-line hitch. Why would we want a taut-line hitch? We'd want a taut-line hitch in a situation where having variable tension on our trucker's hitch would be desirable, like on a guy line or something like that. So all we have to do to loosen the tension is pull the taut-line hitch up. When we want to increase the tension, all you have to do is grasp the taut-line hitch, slide it up that rope. You've got a taut-line hitch held trucker's hitch. A couple more thoughts on the taut-line hitch. For you that are just learning knots, I don't want you to think of the taut-line hitch as just a way to tie off the trucker's hitch. I would argue that knowing how to tie the taut-line hitch could, by itself, get you through most camping trips. A couple of tips for the taut-line hitch. 1. Start your first coils moving opposite of the way you wish to pull the knot to add tension. 2. It doesn't matter whether you start above or below. You can tie it clockwise or counterclockwise. The key is whichever direction of rotation you start with, continue that direction throughout the knot. And 3, slip the last rotation by pulling only a loop through. This makes it so much easier to untie. So I'd like to thank you for making it this far in the video. Now, as I spoke earlier, I'm going to show you one different way to tie the trucker's hitch. This is a double looped method, and so in theory we're adding an extra loop. So technically we've got an extra pulley, so we're gaining some extra mechanical advantage. The one thing is though, we've added one more point of friction. So depending on the kind of line you use, you may find it more effective or the same as tying just a basic trucker's hitch. So here we go with that final method. This is the version of the trucker's hitch I told you I would cover at the end. In theory, this gives you even more mechanical advantage than any of the trucker's hitches I've shown you so far. How do we tie it? We're going to take our loop. I used an Alpine Butterfly for our first loop here. We're going to take this end coming right out of our Alpine Butterfly. We're going to create a loop and bring that loop through. So now we've got a loop coming through. So we've made a second loop. So now this can be a pulley here, and this will be a pulley when we run our working end up through. Now watch how much movement there is in the ropes. You can see just with any block and tackle system, to get a 4-to-1 advantage or a 5-to-1 advantage, the rope is going to move 5 times. So as it moves, that allows that, with me moving the rope more, the ability to put more force on this. So as we pull, we can pull and get extra tension. Then all you need to do is finish it off with a slipped half hitch, and there you go. So let's look at it. We've got our original loop, then we pulled the second loop through. Now what we've done is we've run our working end through that loop, pulled that, and tied it off. We've added one more pulley to our system. Now, the question is, with the addition of the other pulley, with that extra point of friction though, do they offset each other? So that was the double looped method of the trucker's hitch. So what I'd like to know is, if you try it, how'd it work for you? If you'd also tell me what kind of line you were using. Are you using synthetic, paracord, or natural fiber? And then maybe what application? Securing a load, lifting something heavy, or maybe the most common reason is getting a nice secure ridgeline. Have you ever been learning knots and noticed your source having some sort of notation like ABOK 1529, and you've wondered what that meant? It means it's referencing this book, Ashley Book of Knots. This book is widely regarded as the ultimate reference for knots. There are thousands of knots represented in this book, categorized by their function. If you found this deep dive into the Truckers Hitch interesting, then I highly recommend this book. If you'd like to check it out, I've put a link to it in the description below. After the video, you should go down there and check it out. The next topic we'll be covering is basic land navigation and orienteering. This will be a bit of a different approach than many of the other videos out there on the subject. If you're not good with directions, this course is a must for you. If you are, then you'll also find value. So if you haven't done so yet, hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it and choose all notifications. That way you'll be notified each time we release a new outdoor skills course. Hey, I really do want to thank you for watching this video, and if you've made it through all 4 of the videos, I give you a thumbs up. If you found some value though, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button down below, it really does help. I'm John with Let's Go Now Adventures, and I'll see you on the next adventure.